Hi, it's Mike Stevenson here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a request that I had from a Turbo360 user who was looking to monitor the log quotas and log retention in Log Analytics. Now, I think the problem that they had was that sometimes people have configured workspaces that have had the settings to be too high from what they would want, and they want to basically get an alert to say that's happened so that they don't incur a future unexpected cost once those logs get used more than was expected. So we're going to have a look at how to do that. And what we're going to do in Turbo360 is show the feature where you can monitor a resource graph query. So you can reuse this same approach for monitoring a number of different scenarios. Here I'm in Turbo360 and I've got a very simple environment set up with a few different demos in. So I want to have a node on my tree view here so I've called this one governance testing. So if I think in my platform, I've got a number of different use cases where I've got different business applications. So for example, here I've got a logic app demo. This might be an application doing integration. But sometimes in my overall architecture, I want to monitor some of the standard settings and stuff like that. So in governance testing, you can see it's red at the minute, showing me that I've got an issue. And I've basically added two resource graph queries. So what I can actually do here is we can create a query. So we give it a name. We can save the query here, and we would choose where do we want to save it. So I can save it into a subscription and a resource group, so I can access it in Azure if I want as well. Now, what I've actually got is there's two queries. One of them is monitoring the Log Analytics workspace daily quota, and one's monitoring the retention period. And you can see from the monitoring status here, this one's currently shown as error. So I've basically got 14 workspaces that have got a quota that's bigger than what I'm expected. I'm in my monitor, I'm seeing allow 2 to be greater, and that would be fine. But if there's more than 2, then that's not okay. So let's have a look at how you use this feature. So here, I can go in here and I can see I've got the query that I used. So if I run this query, you can see I get a list of all my different workspaces and then the daily quota on the side here. So this quota, the workspaces it would show would be based on what the app registration that Turbo360 is using can see. And the daily quota, if it's -1, it means I haven't set a quota. And if it's, sometimes you might say set 10 gig a day or something like that. So really what I'm looking for is to monitor a query similar to this one. Now, in this case, this query I've saved here is really just to help me visualize this. So I could, I can go and create this query as a way for me to easily go and check later what my Log Analytics workspaces are doing. I could also do some widgets as well. So for example, I could choose a widget and say have a bar graph based on a number of different things. So let's say we have a bar graph based on, I don't know, the name or the count or something like that. So I can put some visualizations if I need to. And from a monitoring perspective, the bit that I've got here is you can see I've created already the monitor, but I can basically put a modified version of that query where I've just done a summary. So what I'm saying here is give me any workspace where the quota is bigger than 25 gig or it's less than 0. So that less than 0 will catch the unlimited. And then I'm going to summarize them. And if I get more than 1, I get a warning. More than 2, I'll get an error. Save that. That'll basically run that query on a periodic basis. So if somebody deploys a new workspace, then that'll raise an alert and I'll be able to respond to that and go and correct that. Likewise over here with the retention, so we're just using a different column. So I've got a retention in days column. So if I run that, you'll see I've got retention in days. I've still got the daily quota in this one, so you can see them side by side. And the only difference here is the monitoring query is different. So I'm looking for retention in days being greater than 90 days. Summarize it gives me a count. So if I validate my query, say I've currently got 0. So if I get greater than 1, it'll be an error. Greater than 2, it'll be so greater than 1 will be a warning. Greater than 2 will be an error. So it's an easy way to start raising alerts if you get any. So maybe what I would do here, if I've got 0, I might say greater than 0 and greater than 1. And that would be my error conditions coming out for Log Analytics workspaces that are keeping data too long. That might then incur a cost for me. So that's a good way for a bit of governance here. You can see because I changed that, it's requeried. It's actually gone green now because I modified that, so we're all good. But hopefully this is an easy way for you to plug in custo queries. There's loads of other use cases that I've been able to leverage this feature for. So things like checking for, have I got any web apps that have got HTTP enabled? Have I got any connectors and logic apps that are disabled or erroring? Things like stuff with FTP deployment turned on. Some of the things that some customers might use policy for catching these things, but if you've got a brownfield environment, sometimes it's hard to enforce those policies. So you can use a monitoring approach to kind of bring down your risk by closing off those loopholes and getting to a better place. I'll share the queries I've used today in a blog, and I hope you guys all enjoy this video. Thank you.